Welcome back to Proclaim His Word. Well, I'm here with two very dear friends of mine, LaneCh and Susan Yenser, and we're going to be talking about Christian dating in general. And I just thought it would be great to talk to Lane and Susan about it. They've been going out now for about a year, and I just wanted to speak to them about the boundaries and about what precautions you should take if you're dating right now and you're a Christian, and what you should and should not do. So the first things that we agree on is that you shouldn't date someone unless they are a Christian, right?
Exactly.
Right.
The Bible tells us to not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, and I believe one of the main reasons it says that is because if you have two people and one is trying to serve the Lord with all their heart, and you have another person who's only, let's say even they decide to, hey, I'm going to stay until I'm married. Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily doing that for God. Mm-hmm. They're doing it for you. Right. So what if you go out the picture? You know, it's never going to be. It's never going to be them trying to help you up to a plateau that you need to be at in terms of holiness with God. It's always going to be, you trying to keep them at a certain spot. So if you fall, they fall.
Right.
So it really helps. I mean, I think Susan will agree that that's helped us a lot in our relationship.
Just the like-mindedness in Christ. I mean, I know that, whoever you're dating, if they're not a Christian, you're never going to be on the same page with them. Mm-hmm. Hardly ever, because if your whole life has been regenerated, and like He's the Lord, if the Lord is the Lord of your life, then how could you, be yoked with somebody who doesn't even share that even remotely same goal in life?
Right. So what about boundaries? What kind of boundaries do you guys set? I mean, the kind of things that you guys do to ensure that you stay pure and holy before the Lord.
I think the biggest one, I think you'd agree with this, is just communication. Mm-hmm. We found that probably 90% of the things that we could have fallen into, we avoid simply because we communicate with each other. We're honest with each other, and I think we both want to say at the outset, like, we're by no means saying that, hey, look at us, we're the perfect couple, we're the standard that you should be. We're not preaching that heresy of sinless perfection or anything. But
no, I mean, we definitely. I mean, just because you put two godly people in a relationship, it doesn't mean that the same, struggles and desires just magically disappear. I mean, they're still there, but just because they're there, it's no excuse to give in to them. As Christians, it's no different. It's no different category than covetousness, or it's there and you have to mortify it. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing about Christian dating, is you're basically going to be mortifying the sin, and that's in all aspects of the relationship. But purity is on the top of the ladder on that sense, especially in priority, because I mean, the Lord is holy and our bodies are a temple. Mm-hmm. And if you're not keeping that pure, and you don't have somebody sitting next to you that wants to keep you pure, mm-hmm. you're fighting an uphill battle, and you'll see that your entire relationship with the Lord can downfall just as fast as you're letting impurities come into your life and your relationship.
Right.
And I think of John Owen's quote too: "Be killing sin, or sin will be killing you."
Yeah.
We apply that maybe to other aspects of life, but this is one that should be, it should be applied to that as well.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, and I know just with Susan and I, there's been times, one of us has become weak, the other's been strong. Mm-hmm. And because one of us has wanted to be killing sin because of the grace of God, mm-hmm. both of us have not fallen into it.
Yeah, that's true. So but like you said, communication, like, that doesn't mean just that means talking about issues, but it's also like being vocal about the statutes of God.
Right.
I mean, if you're in a situation and both of you are being tempted or whatever it is, being convicted, or it's verbalizing it. It's like, all right, we should not do this, and these are the reasons why. You know what I mean? And it's, if you have a Bible in there, it makes it even better, because you can just get it out. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to kill that temptation. It really is. Like. Yeah. So. And
Sue doesn't have a problem with verbalizing, do you?
Well, the thing about it is, I heard read a study a couple years ago, and they said that Christians were fornicating at the same rate as non-Christians.
Yeah.
And I just find it very, very difficult to believe.
Right.
You know, but unfortunately, I think it's true because a lot of churches do not preach holiness and purity amongst young people.
Right.
And I just think it's very sad.
Right.
And it's a bad testimony to the world because their friends know that they're Christians, and yet their friends also know that they're fornicating and doing all these different things that they're not
Right.
supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bad witness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that's one thing that I have to watch even when Lane used to come visit me at school, because my teammates are my roommates, and you know I already have a reputation for them as a Christian,
Right.
and not that it's about reputation, but they look to my life as a witness, and so we always had to watch out, even if we were okay, like even if we knew we were okay to come in and out of the apartment and and hang out or whatever, we had to be aware that we were being watched,
Right.
and we don't even want like
We want to abstain from the appearance. Of
even
evil.
from
Right.
the appearance of
Yeah.
evil, exactly.
And in the end, the man is responsible, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Yes.
Susan's going to be your wife, God willing, and so it's good to start now being the head of the home and showing leadership in this kind of area.
Right.
Yeah.
It is true, and if I could speak about that for a second, I think one of the biggest things, like if you're a female out there and either you're dating or you're not, one of the things that you need to look at in your dating partner or whatever is their willingness to protect you in this area. Even if the man is weak, which men a lot of times are weak in this area. What sacrifices do you see that they're willing to make? You know what I mean? Not perfectly, because we're not perfect, but I would say for a girl out there to really look into the person, and not that you're always going to be the strong one, but if you're verbalizing how you feel about something, and if you watch their reaction, you'll be able to tell a lot about a guy who, if you're telling them no, this is how it's going to be. Well, if they're like, well,
Wanting to debate.
yeah,
you
if they're
about
Right.
if they're trying to skirt around the issue,
Right.
if they're trying to say that well, we can still da 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 da,
Right.
like that seriously is a huge red flag. Like, and that's where you said the man is the leader, the man is the protector. So if that man is not willing to protect you in that area, I mean,
why even be with them?
who's to say that he's going to be the protector of your household,
Exactly.
Yeah.
years down the road? I think that's a huge thing for girls out there that they really need to look at.
Mhm.
One, not being scared to say that, because, the fear that they'll run away from you. Then they need to run away from you. You don't
Right.
need to be with that man.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
And I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Is I told you 3 years ago, before we even started dating, it was like 2 years before we started dating, that the next girl I date, it was I was regenerated and everything. I said the next girl I date is going to be the girl that I marry.
Right.
I'm not gonna this business of dating
Right.
15 guys a year or something
Right.
like that. I mean,
guys.
or not for me. That was not a Freudian slip or anything.
Something you're not telling us, Lane?
Code clean, all on ProclaimHisWord,
Sorry.
But I mean, seriously, I lost my train of thought. No,
Dating
but
frivolously.
dating frivolously, like some girls date like 10 or 15 guys a year.
Yeah.
That's not what the Christian ideal of dating is. It's supposed to be basically like a courting.
Right.
Yeah.
Where
We're using the word dating, but it's
Right.
basically a courtship.
Right, and
Right.
it's supposed to be. It's not just supposed to be like you and this girl. It's like you and the family. I mean, basically, in a way. Like before I started dating Sue, like I asked her dad's permission like, before I got and that's just stuff like that. Like if you're a guy and you really want to take a leadership role, those are things that she should be doing to ensure that, hey, I'm going to have a good Christian relationship. I'm not going to be going side to side wavering on a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also, just not just with your family, that's a huge part, but people in general. You need to have like people that you spend time with as a couple that get to know both of you. You know what I mean? Or else, if you just have people that know you really well but don't know your relationship, then you really don't have anybody to turn to for advice or Christian counsel. You really need to have people in your lives that can invest in your relationship.
Christian people.
Christian people
yeah,
that are going
right.
to turn to the Bible, because I know a lot of times you can call up somebody and they can just talk off the top of their head, and it could just be a bunch of worldly advice. But
Right.
you need people, whether it be people from your local church, but that's kind of hard for us because we live on opposite ends of the country,
Mhm.
which, by the way, is another precaution that
Yeah,
we take.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. If living on opposite ends of the country obviously can help a lot out in that temptation area. But yeah, you need people. You need to find some sort of way to have people that know both of you really well and
Just
can
the,
hold you accountable.
yeah, just the example. I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't mind us sharing. Like, we went through a little time recently, you know, and both of us had mutual Christian friends that we could go to and say, listen, this is what's happening. You know, what is your advice about the situation? And we went to the same people,
Yeah,
essentially.
we found out later that we were going to the same people.
Great, the same people. And I mean, it was wonderful because they were giving us the same consistent
advice, yeah.
advice.
That's
It
good.
wasn't, you know, oh, Sue, you know, it's okay, da-da-da, let me tell you one thing, and then over here to Sue, to Lane, you know, oh,
Right.
Lane, you know, da-da-da,
Yeah.
you can, you know, do this.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So it was, that's very important to have a good established Christian community, good friendships.
Around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's good. And Lane, Susan, I thank you for good advice, and I hope this is helpful to many of you. And just stay pure, be holy, and look to the Lord for guidance in this area, and look to your scriptures. And once again, guys, I just thank you for your good advice on this.
thanks for having us,
Right.
Mark.
God bless, guys.